Hello, thank you for joining us on One-on-One with Gabriel Gonzalez. I am your host. Joining me today is Jeff Hurd, who is running for Colorado's 3rd Congressional District. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Gabriel, for having me.
Of course, it's always a pleasure to interview you. We always learn so much. We always like to hear how it's going to go, what your plan is. So thank you for joining me today. Since we last talked, you and I, a few things have changed. I'm sure, as you know, Representative Boebert announced that she is switching districts come November. How has that really affected your campaign? Because the last time that I talked to you, she was still in the race here in our district, but things have changed.
Yeah, they've changed certainly, but for me, Gabriel, things are staying the same. I'm focused primarily on the issues, making life better for families and for businesses and for communities here in the 3rd CD. So plan for me is to continue with my momentum, fundraising, endorsements, and meeting as many voters as I can.
Yeah, absolutely. When I talked to your campaign manager earlier this morning, he was saying that yesterday was the grand opening, I guess, of a voter...
Our office here in Grand Junction.
Office, there you go, your
Yes.
office here in Grand Junction. Tell me about that. That's exciting.
1st District office, that's right. It's great. We had a bunch of volunteers out there. One of the things that we've been doing in addition to the fundraising and the endorsements is grassroots engagement, and making sure that we're meeting with the people that are actually going to be helping with phone banking and door knocking and getting the vote out. So that's a critical piece of it, and having an office here where people can come and pick up materials and phone bank and reach out to voters is critical to my campaign and to our success.
Yeah. So with that, with people, regular everyday people, volunteering for your campaign, really, going to that office and helping your campaign, what's been the response from other residents, other people who have the opportunity to vote come November, or maybe deciding, who they're going to vote for? What's been the response from those residents who are not volunteering with your campaign, but maybe getting calls from your campaign or things like that?
It's been good. Not only calls from my campaign, but it's also been me getting around the district. I've made it to all 27 counties in the 3rd Congressional District, and I've been meeting with county commissioners and city leaders and community leaders and business owners and just regular people walking on the streets. And it's been great to meet with those people, and I recognize that ultimately those are the people that are going to be voting in this race. So I'm doing everything I can to get around the district and meet people and shake hands and hear about their concerns.
Absolutely. That's something that I want from, as a voter, as a citizen, that's what I want from, my representative as well. We've had county commissioners on this program, One-on-One with Gabriel Gonzalez. We've had county commissioners before. We've had, people in elected positions before. What's your message to residents like myself as well, but people that are watching? What's your message to those people, going forward, going toward November, looking toward the future?
Help is coming, and sometimes feels like we're being left behind in rural Colorado. Our best export are our kids. They grow up and they leave and they don't come back. If you want a candidate that's going to work hard to create economic opportunities so that your children and your grandchildren can, if they want, stay here, I'm your candidate. I'm sincere and I'm hardworking, and I'm also the homegrown candidate. I'm proud to have grown up here on the Western Slope, and it would be an honor to serve the families and businesses and communities of the 3rd Congressional District.
Yeah. Well, I know this because we've interviewed before together, but in case you don't know this, correct me if I'm wrong, your kids grew up here and are living here.
That's right. We moved back home about 10 years ago, and so my wife and I have 5 children. Our oldest is a freshman in high school, and our youngest is still in the School of Hard Knocks. He's still in his diapers. But it's great to be back home. We live about a quarter mile from the childhood home where I grew up, so it's kind of come full circle for me, and it's a great community to live in, and it's a great environment to raise your children in, and that's what my wife and I are happy to experience every single day.
Yeah. Absolutely. And something that I always find very, very interesting is for somebody like me in my position, in my work position that I am, we come here to find a job. My job is very, very specific, reporting the news, being a journalist. There are, to your point earlier, where we want to keep the kids that grew up here in this county, in Grand Junction, in Montrose, in Fruita, in Palisade. The goal is to keep these kids here. Unlike myself, where my job brought me here, what's a way that you keep these kids here? What's a way that you bring jobs here to the Western Slope, not only for people like myself, but people who have grown up here their whole life?
Well, I think the key things are creating economic opportunities and good jobs that allow families to support themselves, that allow you to purchase a home, Gabriel. I hope that you'll be staying here in the Grand Valley for a while and you won't get lured away by some big city news organization.
Thank you.
But creating those economic opportunities is the primary driver, and focusing on the economy. The things that I'm actually hearing from the voters when I'm going around the district are the border first. The open border is a crisis situation. That's something we need to address. But also the economy. Under the Biden administration, inflation has increased by 18% nationwide. We feel that in a particularly hard way here in rural Colorado, from the gas that we buy, the food that we eat, and the electricity that we pay each month. And those struggles are things that make life harder for families and for businesses to succeed. And ultimately, if we want to keep those kids here, and if we want to keep people like you here in western Colorado and in southern Colorado, we need to do a better job of creating those economic opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, I totally agree. Now, this is the last question because we're almost out of time. You know, what's been the most challenging thing that you've heard from voters throughout your campaign? Is it gas prices? Is it putting food on the table? Is it something like the border? Is that what's on everybody's? You know, what's been the most challenging thing that you've heard from voters?
The border is certainly first and foremost on voters' minds, and the concern about the drugs and crime that are flowing across the border. And we hear stories about what's happening in Denver and the crisis that city is experiencing, and there's real concern that it's going to spread here to rural Colorado. Beyond that, energy independence and the cost of energy, that's another critical issue. And then also protecting our water and ag. I mean, I grew up here in Grand Junction surrounded by ag, and as a candidate, I appreciate in a deeply personal way what agriculture does to support our economy, to protect our environment, and also it's a huge cultural part of our way of life. And along those lines, actually, I'm honored to have the support of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. They are supporting me in my campaign as well, and I've come through their eyes to appreciate, and through the supporters that I have in the ranching industry, the value that our food producers do to put food on our families' plates, to feed my children, and to provide for food security in our country.
Absolutely. Well, Jeff, thank you for your time. I'm sure you're very, very busy.
Happy to be here.
We appreciate it. We will continue to talk to you until November comes around.
Sounds great.
Thanks,
Thanks,
so
Gabriel.
much. Of course, you're welcome. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.